For decades, the Woodland Cultural Centre in Brantford, Ontario has helped to preserve, promote and strengthen Indigenous language, culture, art and history. Today, the centre is officially unveiling the former Mohawk Institute residential school as an interpretive historic site. The CBC's Lisa Shing is at the site. She joins me now. So Lisa, this reimagining of the former residential school is very meaningful. What stories are you hearing from survivors there?
Hey, Arthi, it is meaningful to the survivors. This is a place where they experienced so much pain. And today, on Truth and Reconciliation Day, a new chapter for them, opening as a sort of museum space where those painful memories are preserved and hopefully something that the public can learn from and have a few takeaways when they walk through the space and leave today as well as onwards. The Mohawk Institute is the longest running residential school in Canada, or was the longest running residential school in Canada. It opened in 1828, and over its more than 140 years of operation, about 15,000 children were forced to attend. And I've been able to speak with just a handful of the survivors who attended, and hearing those stories is wrenching in many ways. You hear stories about sexual abuse, about violence, and not just from the administrators of the Mohawk Institute, but also student-on-student violence that seemed to be encouraged by the adults who were overseeing this place. And the overarching theme that I heard from some of the survivors I spoke with was the hunger they experienced. You know, there was a field just around the corner, and they were working in the fields as children, trying to produce harvest, vegetables as well as fruit, but none of them ever got to eat any of that. So today, the public is here to mark this reopening of the former Mohawk Institute as a museum space. Hundreds of people were here this morning for the opening ceremonies, and now many of them are lined up to walk through the space, to even have a little bit of an experience of what the children went through in their time here. I spoke with Roberta Hill, one of the survivors. She came here for about 4 years, and this is what she said about the significance of the day and the museum.
I think because this is the history, this is where it happened, and I don't think people should deny that it happened. This is the physical. The physical building is where this happened, and we have survivors that can tell you what happened here. And you know, when you're going to talk about history, you shouldn't be hiding history. Tell it the way it was. How are you going to make any change if you're going to keep lying and saying this was a perfect place, we treated the kids well? No, because it probably will happen again. You have to start somewhere, and starting somewhere is we tell our truths. That's all we can do. I can't make the government or the church say anything different. We can say what happened to us. This is our truth.
So Roberta Hill was actually sent here with her sister Dawn Hill, and I had a chance to speak with Dawn today about her thoughts on this space.
When you look at this, you can't say it didn't happen. There's so many stories in here and so many people that gather now. And this is one of those really historic things. This is part of Canada's history. I mean, we were part of Canada's history, but this is now also. And into the future, this will be part of Canada's history.
And some of the survivors I spoke with say even though they're called residential schools, they were anything but.
And Lisa, you have also had an opportunity to actually visit this centre and to take a look at the site. What more can you tell us about what the public will see and experience if they get a chance to go there?
So it's really eerie stepping foot into this space because we hear so many stories about what happened, but to know that they actually happened inside is really kind of a bit of an unsettling feeling. And I should note that it was a $26 million renovation to turn it into what it was today. And so when you walk through, you can see a classroom with quotes from some of the survivors on the desks. Those quotes are actually all through the building on stairways too. There are films, there's the creation story in the Mohawk language. And so all of this is to really try and keep the space was the way it was when the children were there. I know the floors are still the original floors from that time. This renovation, this refurbishment was not easy. It took lots of people from the community, a lot of research as well, and about a decade in the making. So today, a lot of these survivors, a lot of the community members and folks from the Woodland Cultural Centre got today to commemorate this labor that they undertook in order to make sure that these stories and this history is preserved here. Have a listen to Geronimo Henry, who spoke at the opening ceremony today.
To suffer all the abuses that we went through. And it's bad enough if you were here like 1 or 2 years or 7 years. But imagine how much suffering I took when I was here 11 years. You know, so that just kind of like, I just kind of like ran out of tears.
So there was actually a decision that had to be made when this building closed in 2019 because it was dilapidated. And so there was the choice to raise it and completely knock it down or turn it into what it is today. And Henry was saying how the overwhelming majority of people said they wanted this space preserved in order for their stories to live on and as a symbol of their resilience. Arthi?
Thanks for this, Lisa. That is the CBC's Lisa Shing at Woodland Cultural Centre in Brantford, Ontario.